It all begins with a meeting that could easily have gone unnoticed. A simple crossing of paths in a world where elites instinctively recognize one another. Yet this encounter would become the starting point of a scandal that would shape contemporary history, a story unfolding in the hushed salons of Britain's upper class, where the chandeliers of Buckingham Palace cast their glow over shadows no one dares to examine, a story in which a prince born into the comfort of a thousand-year-old monarchy crosses paths with a financier whose wealth, connections, and secrets drift in a haze of ambiguity. And it is in this setting, in 1999, that Prince Andrew, Duke of York, third child of Queen Elizabeth II, former Royal Navy helicopter pilot, self-styled hero of the Falklands, but already losing relevance in his public role, meets Jeffrey Epstein, a man from modest Brooklyn beginnings, who moved from teaching to Wall Street before emerging as a mysterious money manager whose true fortune no one could quite explain. A man whose address book, the infamous Black Book, contained hundreds of names capable of opening any door. A man who owned a private jet, later dubbed by the press the Lolita Express, with flight logs that would eventually show Prince Andrew aboard several times. And the bridge between these two worlds is Ghislaine Maxwell, daughter of media tycoon Robert Maxwell, a polished socialite, multilingual, magnetic, a fixture of the world's most exclusive circles, who, after her father's suspicious death in 1991, gravitated into Epstein's orbit, becoming his right hand, his public face, his recruiter, his shadow, and it is she who introduces Andrew into this sphere, where money, influence, and global connections blend seamlessly. A sphere in which Epstein appears indispensable, hosting dinners where scientists, politicians, celebrities, bankers, and royals mingle. And Andrew quickly finds in Epstein a social ally, someone who offers him what the monarchy no longer provides: relevance, importance, a place in a global network, while Epstein sees in Andrew a trophy, a symbol, a royal endorsement that elevates his status among the powerful. And so begin the private jet trips, the stays in luxurious homes in Palm Beach, New York, New Mexico, and even on Epstein's private Caribbean island, Little St. James, a place that would later become emblematic, a place where several witnesses claim to have seen Andrew despite his categorical denials, a place where, according to testimonies, vulnerable young girls were lured with promises of money, work, or opportunity. And while the outside world sees Epstein as an eccentric philanthropist, a patron of science, a mysterious but fascinating figure, the first whispers begin to circulate. Rumors of inappropriate behavior, allegations of coerced massages, questionable recruitment, girls far too young to be present. Yet in circles of power, eyes turn away because Epstein is useful, connected, invited, respected, and Andrew continues to move in this world without imagining that this proximity will one day become the turning point of his public life, until 2005, when Palm Beach police open an investigation after a 14-year-old girl files a complaint. An investigation revealing a structured system in which teenage girls are recruited for massages that escalate, a system where money flows to buy silence, a system in which Maxwell plays a central role, according to multiple testimonies. And despite the scale of the accusations, despite dozens of identified victims, Epstein manages in 2008 to negotiate an extraordinary plea deal, a non-prosecution agreement that spares him federal charges, a deal so lenient it shocks even some prosecutors, and Epstein serves only 13 months in a county facility with daily work release privileges that allow him to leave the jail almost every day, a privilege few men could ever obtain. And at this moment, as the world discovers that Epstein is not merely a financier, but a convicted predator, Prince Andrew makes a decision that will define his future. He does not cut ties. He does not distance himself. He does not step back. Instead, in 2010, he travels to New York to meet Epstein, a visit captured in photographs showing them walking through Central Park, talking outside Epstein's mansion, a visit Andrew would later call a mistake, though the images tell a different story, one of ease, familiarity, complicity, and meanwhile, testimonies continue to accumulate, most notably that of Virginia Giuffre, recruited at 16 by Maxwell while working at a spa in Mar-a-Lago, a young woman who claims she was trafficked by Epstein and directed towards several powerful men, including Prince Andrew. Allegations the prince has always denied, yet the accusations gain global traction when the now iconic photograph emerges. Andrew smiling, his arm around Virginia's waist, Maxwell in the background, an image that becomes a symbol, an image Andrew disputes by saying he does not recall taking it, suggesting it may be doctored, though offering no convincing evidence. And this photograph, frozen in time, becomes the focal point of a scandal that only grows, culminating in the disastrous 2019 BBC interview in which Andrew, seated across from journalist Emily Maitlis, attempts to explain, defend, deny, yet sinks deeper with each answer, citing an alleged inability to sweat, claiming he was at a Pizza Express in Woking on the night in question, explanations that go viral, provoking disbelief, ridicule, outrage, sealing his public downfall, leading to his withdrawal from royal duties, the loss of his honorary military titles, and ultimately, in 2022, a financial settlement with Virginia Giuffre, with no admission of guilt, but reportedly worth several $1,000,000, a settlement that ends the civil case but not the questions, for Epstein's 2019 death in prison, officially ruled a suicide, leaves behind a trail of doubts, sealed documents, unreleased names, while Maxwell's 2021 trial confirms the existence of a structured network, an organized system of exploitation, and at the center of it all remains the image of a prince who, through naivety, arrogance, or blindness, became entangled in one of the darkest scandals of modern times. A story that, the deeper one digs, reveals the fractures of a world where power protects, money silences, victims fight for years to be heard, and institutions, political, judicial, royal, often choose image over truth. A story that continues to haunt the British monarchy because it raises a simple, unsettling question. How could a prince, a man born under the brightest spotlight, come so close to someone whose secrets still seem too heavy to fully reveal? And above all, what lies within the thousands of sealed court documents, those silent archives that may one day redraw the entire outline of this sprawling affair?